Greetings. Hi there. I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist, speaker, and author of the book Forgive to Win and Self-Sabotage, Create the Life You Want. This is actually right now a live call-in show, so if you feel like calling in, please do. You can ask questions or to clarify any of the information we're talking about or anything, in fact. I'd love to get a conversation going about any topics of relationships, self-help, self-sabotage, etc. Today's talk is actually a form of self-sabotage. It's denial. Now, I maintain that denial is a choice. Now, certainly I know that on one level it's not. On one level, denial is a defense mechanism that people use unconsciously to discharge anxiety. It's a primitive defense mechanism, but what it does is they don't realize they're doing it, and it's just a way to that they perceive that they're protecting themselves, keeping themselves safe. Perhaps they believe that they won't on some unconscious level that they can't handle the truth or they can't handle the consequences of dealing with admitting whatever the issue of denial is. People like to have a positive image of themselves. They like to think that they look good to the outside world, and so they're in denial about how they may actually appear. So there are all sorts of unconscious benefits of being in denial, but they really aren't benefits because in the long run they are very sabotaging. In the long run, they prevent people from growing, from changing, from becoming insightful about their behaviors and improving their lives. Denial is a form of self-sabotage on an unconscious level because it prevents you from actually repairing relationships. You can't repair relationships if you're in denial, if you're always blaming the other person, if you're never taking responsibility, if you're always denying that you're at fault, if you never apologize. This becomes like a relationship that is seriously flawed, defective, abusive, and can never sustain itself, at least not at a healthy, loving level. Denial can sabotage you at work if you think you're doing a fine job and but you're not, and you don't want to admit that you make mistakes, or that you're sloppy, or that you're late a lot, or whatever it might be that whatever criticism might be thrown your way, and you want to deny it. Yeah, sooner or later it's going to bite you in the butt. Sooner or later, it's not going to serve you well. Denial, it's much better to have the courage to face the truth. Okay, it's much better to have the courage to hold that mirror up to yourself and look at yourself and acknowledge your flaws and your imperfections and your difficulties because that's the only way you have a chance to deal with them, rise above them, overcome them, and really have the kind of satisfying life that you want. Um, yeah, so a big thing, right off the bat, a big form of denial are those who are alcoholics and drug addicts and won't admit it. And so consequently, what happens is I don't, I can stop anytime. I don't have a problem. Meantime, they're getting multiple DUIs and they're driving into trees and they're losing their jobs and they're not getting promotions and they miss days of work, being sick or whatever, or recovering from a hangover or whatever, or a drug run or whatever it might be. They don't have enough money because it's going. They don't have enough time. They don't spend time with their family. Everything's falling apart. But hey, it's no, I don't have a problem. And but yeah, that's why a lot of times people who are in denial about being alcoholics and addicts, they have to what we call hit a bottom. They have to totally trash everything before they finally go, okay, right, I got a problem, help me now. So that's the ego getting in the way and trying to protect the person. The idea being, though, that basically the addict and alcoholic, they're psychologically addicted to the substance, not just physiologically, to the point where they actually believe that they can't function without it, that they need it to be happy, to survive, to function, to whatever. And so the denial serves to protect them from this intense fear of being unable to handle the truth, being unable to deal with the addiction, being unable to manage it and cope with it and be free of it. So that it manifests in denial. And then what people try to do, and you may have done this if you know people who are in denial about this sort of thing, they try to do an intervention. They try to get several people who love the person, who care about the person, to say, hey, look, you got a problem. Hoping that by the numbers themselves, just the quantity of people saying, stepping up and saying, you got a problem, we're here to love you, but help you, but you got to deal with this. The belief is that by sheer numbers, these people will overcome their denial. A lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times they are so entrenched that what they do is that they shoot the messenger. Well, they'll just find any kind of excuse or reason to deny that the intervention is valid. The shooting the messenger concept is a form of denial because what happens is if someone says to you, you have an anger problem, or you're an alcoholic, or or you never say you're sorry, then shooting the messenger involves attacking the other person in some way, or saying you do this or you do that, or what about when you do this, or just trying to deflect and distract, or just degrade the person, or neutralize the person, so you don't have to listen to the message. And so that's a form of denial, is shooting the messenger. Um, yeah. So another form of denial is there's many forms of people not wanting to take responsibility and deal with the truth. One form though is actually called contempt prior to investigation. It's also something that's often seen in 12-step programs. But the concept of contempt prior to investigation is where someone says to you, I think you should try doing this. It might help. And and instantly, immediately, no, that won't work. I'm not going to do that. You've never, it's called contempt prior to investigation. You really don't know what you're talking about. You don't know it won't work. It might work. You don't know anything about it. You haven't even looked at it. So the key to overcoming contempt prior to investigation is to say to yourself, hey, wait a second. Okay, let me look at the data. Let me research this a little bit. Let me try it out. Let me go to a meeting. Let me see. And if I don't like it, if I don't think it's true, if I don't think it's valid, if I don't think it applies to me, okay, then I'll let it go. But at least I looked at it. I investigated it and I tested it. But people who right out of the gate say, "I'm not going to go. I'm not going to try it. It's not going to work. I'm not going to do it." This is contempt prior to investigation. They have no idea whether it would work or not. There's intense fear driving the instant no, right? And so this is something to pay attention to. If someone actually gives you the code words contempt prior to investigation, stop and think. If you're the one who is going no right out of the gate and someone says, what are you talking about? Investigate, check it out, see. Then if you don't like it, okay. If you're that person saying no out of the gate, stop, think about this show. Realize this may be you. You may be in denial. That's the key to overcoming denial in yourself is, if you are adamant about anything and someone challenges you and several people challenge you, take a pause. Give yourself the chance to look at it. Ask yourself, maybe this is my insecurity. Maybe this is my fear. Maybe this is my addiction. Maybe I need to look at this. Maybe I need to deal with this. And then if it's really scary, the idea of dealing with something that you don't want to look at, then tell yourself, okay, it's scary. I get it. But I'll take baby steps. I'll work at it. I'll strengthen my support system. I'll lean on my support system. I'll ask for help. People care about me. They'll help me. But I need to have the courage to take one step forward, one day at a time, and try to deal with this rather than staying in a state of perpetual denial, which is very self-destructive. So contempt prior to investigation. Another form of denial is what we call the inner critic. Is a form of denial, actually. The inner critic is like the contempt prior to investigation, where you hear this, you instantly say, no, it's not going to work. Well, you've got an inner critic going on. Most of us do. Sometimes the voice is very loud. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it may not even be apparent to your consciousness. But there is part of us, it's a loud voice in some people, very tiny and minuscule in others, but there's a part of us that doesn't like ourselves, part of us that hates ourselves, wants to see us crash and burn, thinks it's protecting us, but really is preventing us from having the life that we want. So it whispers in our ear, you're not good enough. It's not going to work out. Why bother? Don't do it. They don't really like you. You're wasting your time. This is inner critic stuff. It keeps you paralyzed. It keeps you immobilized. It keeps you procrastinating. It keeps you from going forward and trying things out. Again, it thinks it's safe, keeping you safe, protecting you from hurt, from shame, from humiliation. But no, it's preventing you from stepping up to the plate and hitting a home run. Yeah, you may strike out, and that may be humiliating, but you're never going to get anywhere if you're unwilling to take risks. And if you're unwilling, and you just have to have the courage to deal with the outcome and the consequence of any risk you might take. We're not talking about taking impulsive, stupid risks, but just taking risks to change behaviors, to do something different, to try and strive for something that you've dreamed about doing but have been afraid to do. So the inner critic telling you it's not going to work, you're not good enough, you're stupid, why bother, don't go, it's not going to be any fun, you're not going to meet anybody, All that is part of the intense embedded self-loathing that people have at an unconscious level, which wants to see them crash and burn, which believes they don't deserve happiness, success, prosperity, joy, and it believes that they deserve punishment and failure and obstacles and potholes in their lives. So the subconscious mind will create what you deep down believe about yourself. So if you think you're worthless and unworthy and a sinner and deserve punishment, then that's what the subconscious mind will do for you. It will help to manifest that reality. And so it whispers in your ear, why bother? Don't go there. But the fact is, it's not true. So you have to learn to neutralize the inner critic. When you hear that voice start jabbering away, putting you down, calling you names, you're stupid, you're a moron, you're an idiot. You need to just say stop and shut up. You got to stop calling yourself names. You got to stop putting yourself down. Believe me, and I know you know it too. There are plenty of people out there who are very happy to put you down and humiliate and shame you and ridicule you. You don't need to jump on the bandwagon and do it for yourself. You don't need to do it before they even bother doing it. You need to be nice to yourself and be supportive of yourself and give yourself a chance and say, yeah, it's possible. Give it a shot. It's okay if you fail. No harm, no foul, but give it a shot. You got to tell that inner critic who wants to see you crash and burn to shut up and go away, haunt somebody else. You got to stop calling yourself names. So you got to neutralize the inner critic. Okay, what else we got here? In relationships, people, a lot of people have a lot of anger problems, and they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it, and you need to admit it. Yeah. First of all, if you're yelling, I don't care. If you're yelling, you got an anger problem. I'll take that as the bottom line. And it's not like how much you yell or how intense you yell or if you threaten when you yell or say horrible things when you yell. If you're yelling, you have an anger management problem. Yelling is not an effective form of communication. It is effective form if you want to be a bully, right? Yeah. If you want to try to manipulate people with your anger and rage, but if you want to have actually a healthy, sustainable relationship, then yelling at people and bullying people and abusing people is not going to work. So when you're yelling, you're abusing. When you're yelling, you're attacking. Even if you feel justified, even if you feel you've been provoked, even if you feel that that you have no other way to communicate with that person, you're still abusing. You still have an anger problem. Ultimately, it may deal with whatever the conflict is in the short run. In the long run, you still have a big mess on your hands. So if you're yelling at somebody and they say, you got an anger problem, don't yell at them that you don't. Hold that mirror up, look inward, try to have the courage to face the truth about yourself and to deal with it. Believe me, at the end of the game, at the end of the road, you deal with this stuff. You come out the other side healthier, happier, stronger, more empowered, wiser, more capable, more effective, attracting more people who want to synergize and work with you. You engage in less self-sabotaging behaviors. Um, okay, let's see. Right. Again, denial is a device whereby we can kind of hold a happy mirror up. We think that, oh, but if we deny that we've making mistakes, if we deny that we do this or that, we deny we have an anger problem, we're going to look clean to the world. We're going to look like some kind of knight in shining armor. Well, it's just not the case. That's another part of the delusion. Is that the delusion of denial is that we think we're fooling people. And you're not. We're not. You're not. I'm not. You don't fool anybody with denial. Everyone knows you're doing it, but for one reason or another, they may have tried to tell you. You didn't want to hear it. You got angry. You tried to shoot the messenger. You tried to attack them back. You got defensive and angry back when they tried to tell you a truth about yourself. So they may stop doing it. They may just build up the resentment. But so we have a responsibility. We have a choice. Yes, we're running unconscious games in our head, unconscious defense mechanisms, but we can bring them to consciousness. We can face our demons. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I didn't mention. Right. The denial is ultimately the fear that you will not be able to handle the truth. So you tell yourself, I want to handle the truth. I want to deal with my insecurities and fears. I want to be a better person. I want to deal with anger. I want to deal with addiction. I don't want to abuse my partners and loved ones. I don't want to abuse my coworkers, or my peers. I want to have a life that has meaning. I don't want to be at my deathbed one day and look back and go, boy, I was a real a-hole. Yeah, I could have done better. Well, yeah, guess what? You can do better now while you're still alive to make a difference, no matter how old you are, to improve the quality of your life, to improve the quality of your relationships. I mean, think about Scrooge, right? In Christmas Carol, here's a guy in massive denial. He thought money was everything, and he had nothing. He had a lot of money, but he had nothing. And finally, through the drama of seeing the three ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, he was able to gain some insight into the true value of life and the nature of love and charity and generosity. It's never too late. Okay, I think I may have covered the field here. Let's just running down my little notes. Looks like I covered it. Okay, so again, if you're the one in denial and self-reflect, you should always ask yourself, am I kidding myself? Including going after things that are impossible. I mean, that's another thing is doing the same thing and expecting different results. They call that insanity. That's denial. Is you keep on doing the same thing, you keep on failing, you keep on putting your foot in your mouth, you keep on causing problems. You better do something different. Try something different. To keep doing the same thing is a form of denial. Right. So you want to self-reflect. You want to ask people who you trust and care about. Well, what do you think of what I'm doing? What do you think of the kind of person I am? What do you think of my character? Tell me the truth. I want to know. And then take that criticism, the constructive criticism, wholeheartedly and earnestly, and make attempts to improve your character and improve your behavior and improve your relationships. Now, if you know somebody who is in denial, then if you really care about them, then it really does behoove you to find a way to gently and lovingly tell them about their denial. Tell them about the problem that they have. Yes, you do run the risk of them shooting the messenger. You do run the risk of them resenting you and being angry at you, and perhaps even shutting off the relationship because they're too much in fear of dealing with the issue. So that is sometimes a consequence of telling the truth to someone you really care about. They may or may not come back into your life should they go away. So this will test your own worth, so to speak, or it'll test how you really feel about that person. Sometimes you got to put something on the line like that in order and be selfless and realize that, oh yeah, I may lose all the fun I have with this person, but this might be the only way that I can get through to them because they trust me and care about me. Maybe they'll listen to me. And again, that is why people do interventions with several people so that there isn't one target and maybe the person will hear. So doing interventions can be helpful. It's all very difficult when someone's in denial to help them to get out of it, but do what you can. Anyway, that's all for today. Let's see. My website, walterjacobsonmd.com. Got a lot of videos there. You can get my free book, my free download of my book, Forgive to Win and Self-Sabotage, Create the Life You Want. It's a quick read. If you want a paperback or audible version, it's available on Amazon. Forgive to Win. Real simple book. It includes my forgiveness diet. A lot of the principles we talk about here in all of my videos, the forgiveness diet, a daily regimen of thoughts, behaviors, and actions designed to train you to develop habits of living that will increase your ability to esteem and love others, which will increase your ability to esteem and love yourself, and will help to eliminate your guilt, shame, and self-loathing that is deeply embedded, and will help you to end self-sabotaging behaviors that you're doing on an unconscious level, getting in the way of your happiness, your physical well-being, and your success. Forgive to Win and Self-Sabotage, Create the Life You Want. Okay, that's it. Take care. Peace be with you. Thanks. Bye-bye.